What's up YouTube, welcome back to another video on my channel Skotrix, and today you can see we are back on NBA 2K21 current gen for another build guide video. And in today's video I'm going to be showing y'all how to build the best stretch 4 build in NBA 2K21 current gen. This is the best shooting big man build in the entire game. It has amazing shooting, obviously, good playmaking, good defense, and it also has a little bit of finishing. Obviously it's more of an outside build than an inside build, but it does have a little bit of finishing, so that's good. It really is a solid all-around big man build. But before I get into the actual build right here, I just want to mention really quickly, if y'all are not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you click that subscribe button. Only about 2% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to my channel, so if you click that sub button right now, you can join the 2% gang. I really appreciate it. And yeah, with all that being said, without any further ado, let's get right into the video here. Alright, so in this first screen, nothing really matters too much. The only thing that's important is you want your position to be a power forward, the hand, jersey number, name, none of that matters. You can set that up however you want, then go ahead and click continue. Now for the skill breakdown for this build, you want to go down to the pure green pie chart, the pure green, the majority shooting, this one right here. This is the pie chart you want to take for this build. Now for the skill breakdown right here, you want to go ahead and take this top one right here, the pure speed, majority purple, whatever you want to call it. This is the pie chart you want to take. You could take this one right here, the balanced one, but if you take the balanced one, you're going to have to lower the weight a little bit so you can get your speed up a little bit, which will lower your strength. So there's not really any point in doing that. You take this one and you put your weight up a little bit, which will lower your speed a little bit, but it will bring up your strength. It's a little bit of a better value. So this is the pie chart that I'm going to take right here and go with a higher weight rather than going with this pie chart here and going with a little bit lower of a weight. You're going to want to take this one, the top pie chart, majority purple. Go ahead and say yes. Now for the attribute and badge distribution for this build. First off, for the finishing right here, you want to go ahead and move your close shot up to a 61, which obviously isn't amazing, but you're going to need those attributes to put elsewhere. Then you want to put your driving layup up to max just like that, and that's all that you're going to touch for finishing for this build. So obviously not amazing, but like I said, it is more of an outside build. So now you can go down to shooting right here, max on mid-range, three-pointer, post fade, and put your free throw up right here to a 71, and that will give you 28 shooting badges. If you bring this down even one, you go down to 27. You don't want that. You want those 28 shooting badges. So a 71 free throw with all of these maxed is the perfect way to set up the shooting right here, and 28 badges will be more than enough. I'll show you how to put on the badges at the end of the video, but 28 will be amazing. Then you can go down to playmaking right here. For playmaking, you want to max out pass accuracy, ball handle, and post moves just like that. That gives 14 playmaking badges, which is obviously really good for a big man build with no playmaking in the pie chart. So you're going to be good right there with the playmaking badges. That's more than enough. Then you can go down to the defense right here. This is also going to be a stacked out defensive build. You're literally going to want to max out every single category for defense: interior, perimeter, lateral, steal, block, and both rebounds. You're going to want to max out all of that for defense, and that will be all of your attributes right there. You can see you have pretty decent attributes across the board. These are going to change a bit as we go through the next few slides, but these are pretty decent attributes across the board. With those 10 defense badges, you're going to be able to defend no problem. Even though you don't have defense in the pie chart, you'll be a really good defender with this build, either on the perimeter or inside. You'll be able to grab rebounds, all of that. So this is going to be the final attribute distribution for this build. Obviously these are going to change a little bit, and I will mention you could set it up so you have a little bit less playmaking and more finishing. It'll more than likely make a 3-level scorer instead of a stretch 4, which obviously isn't a big deal. That's just the name of the build. But for this build, we're going to focus more onto playmaking rather than finishing, which is really good in my opinion. It's good to have playmaking in your build. Playmaking or builds with no playmaking really are no fun to play on. Even if you only have like mediocre playmaking like this, it's really no fun to play on a build that has no playmaking at all. So you're going to want to go ahead and confirm your attributes just like this. Now for the body shape, this doesn't matter. You can choose whichever one you want. It does not affect the build in any way. All it does is change how the build looks. So for me, I'll probably just go ahead and take built, but again, doesn't matter. You can choose whichever one you want. Doesn't affect the attributes or badges. Then go ahead and click continue. For the height right here, you just want to stay at 6'9". You could also go up to 6'10" and it would make a decent build, but it does lower your shooting a little bit, and you don't really want that. So 6'9" is the perfect spot to be. 6'10" also lowers your speed a bit, which isn't good. 6'9", perfect spot to be right there. Go ahead and say yes. You'll be more than tall enough to guard every build at 6'9" as well, so don't worry about that. Then for the weight right here, like I said, you are going to move this up quite a bit so that you can get your interior defense up as well as your strength, even though your speed does go down a little bit. But you're going to want to go ahead and put this right here at either 276 pounds or 277. You can see if you put it any higher than these two, you lose the speed. You don't want that. If you put it any lower, you lose a strength and an interior defense, and you don't want that. And that's also the reason that you put the speed pie chart instead of the balanced pie chart, because then you can get your interior defense up by moving up the weight. Otherwise, if you took the balanced pie chart, your speed would be a little bit lower off the rip, so you would have to lower your weight, which would also lower your interior defense to get your speed and your strength up to where it is. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically, by taking the speed pie chart instead of the balanced pie chart, you give yourself +6 interior defense, whereas if you went the other way, you would probably end up getting like -3 or something, and the speed and the strength would basically end up evening out in the end. So that's why it's best to take the speed pie chart. But 276 or 277 is the perfect weight for this build. Doesn't matter, I'll just take 276, go ahead and say yes. Now for the wingspan right here, there's definitely some personal preference. Obviously, if you move it lower, you get more shooting and less defense. If you move it higher, you get more defense and less shooting. But for me, I think the perfect spot right here is right around 83 inches. This gives you an 88 mid-range and an 87 three-pointer, which is super good, but it does move your defensive rebound down to a 73 and your block down to a 69. So if you don't think that's going to be good enough for you, maybe you're not as experienced on interior defense, then maybe you want to go up to about 90 inches, but then you're going to have a tougher time shooting, but you'll still be able to shoot with an 82 three-pointer. It'll just be a little bit tougher, but your block does go up 8 here compared to where it was the other, and your defensive rebound also goes up quite a bit. So it's really up to you where you put this. I would recommend either 90 right there, or down to a 83 right here, or you could even leave it at base, which is decent as well. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and put it down to 83 right here. Go ahead and say yes. Now for the takeover right here, obviously some personal preference. You could either choose the spot up shooter, which is a really good one, or the post scorer, which will help you out with a ton of post fades, and you have a 20 or 95 post fade rating, so that might be good to get all those post fades going in. But I'm going to take this spot up shooter right here. If you went for a longer wingspan, you would also be able to get the rim protector takeover with this build, but for me, I'm just going to take spot up shooter right here. Go ahead and say yes, and as you can see right here, boom, stretch 4, shades of Danilo Gallinari, Kevin Love, and Charles Oakley. So there we go, that's the build. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a quick second to show you how to put on the badges for this build. This will only take a second or two. I recommend you stick around for this. Hopefully it'll help you out make the build as good as possible. But right here is the final attributes. If you want to pause the video and look at this, but I'm just going to go ahead and say yes. For the finishing badge right here, first off, you have a ton of personal preference where you could put this. I'm just going to put it into consistent finisher. Slithery finisher might also be decent, but for me, consistent finisher is the best one to put for that. Go ahead and say yes. Now for the shooting badges right here, I'm going to go ahead and get catch and shoot all the way up to Hall of Fame, corner specialist onto Hall of Fame, Deadeye onto gold, range extender onto Hall of Fame, hot zone hunter onto Hall of Fame, flexible release onto gold, volume shooter onto silver, and then deep fades all the way up to Hall of Fame right there, since you do have a really good fadeaway on this build. And this is basically the best way to set up these shooting badges for this build. You don't need Green Machine. I've gone over why Green Machine is super overrated a few different times. I won't go into it in this video, but you really don't need Green Machine. These are all the badges that you're going to need for sure. Go ahead and say yes. Now for the playmaking badges right here, you can go ahead and get downhill onto gold, bailout onto bronze, break starter onto bronze, needle threader onto gold, unpluckable onto gold, and then quick first step onto gold as well, just like that. This is the perfect way to set up the playmaking badges right here. Obviously you could maybe take Dream Shake if you're going to be working in the post and doing post fadeaways a lot, but otherwise you really don't need that. Flashy passer could also be good if you throw flashy passes, and lob city passer if you throw lobs, but really the way that I have it set up right here is more than good enough for basically any setup, any playstyle, any build. You go ahead and set it up like this and you'll be good. Go ahead and say yes. Now for the defense badges right here, first off, you're going to want to go ahead and get Intimidator onto gold, Rebound Chaser onto gold, and Rim Protector onto gold, just like that. Then with your last badge right here, there is a little bit of personal preference. You could put on Brick Wall if you're going to be setting screens. If not, don't worry about that. You could put on Interceptor, Chase Down Artist, Clamps, Heart Crusher, Worm. You could really set up any of these badges, but for me, I think the best one for me is just to go ahead and put Clamps onto bronze, since you do have a little bit of perimeter defense with this build. Hopefully this will help you guard people on the perimeter. Really all you need Clamps on is bronze for a build like this. Then I'm going to go ahead and say yes, and there you guys go. That is how you build the best stretch 4 build in NBA 2K21 current gen. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Like I said, only 2% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to my channel, so if you click that sub button right now, you can join the 2% gang. I really appreciate it. It helps out a ton and it's free. But yeah, also I said that this series on my channel would last 4 days for the current gen videos. I think I'm only going to cut it down to 2. Yesterday the play shot build and today the stretch 4 build. Maybe I'll do more current gen builds in the future, but I also have done a ton in the past. So if you need a current gen build, either this one or you can go check out one of my builds in the past. But yeah, the current gen builds just haven't been doing as good on my channel, so I'm going to go back to next gen in the next video tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But anyways, that's going to be it. Alright, peace.